Now, other interesting culture news, you have Walmart crushing Target. Now, past couple months we had some controversy with Target because they decided to carry some satanic materials. And to be clear, I don't mean that bombastically or trying to be overly metaphorical. I mean literally, they had a keychain with Satan on it, and it said Satan respects pronouns. They also subsequently had trans swimsuits, so swimsuits that were made for biological men who identify as women, and they had LGBT, they had pride gear for children. And when you look at historically, every year Target had pride stuff. That's not, in my opinion, that's not the controversy around the boycott. The difference between the several years before and now is that they started to involve children. And I think a lot of people, not just conservatives, were concerned about that. So there's a big boycott against Target during Pride Month. Their stock went down by $9 billion. Not 9 million, $9 billion in 1 week. That's unprecedentedly bad. Perhaps only subsequently worse than Bud Light, which they're not doing great as well when they made a decision to get involved with politics and brand ambassadors whose average age is a child. So they're not doing so great. And on the contrast, you have Walmart, where they're not playing the political game as much. They do have both religious materials in terms of they do have Bibles and biblical materials for children in their stores, but they also have pride stuff for adults. So I think that's a big difference. Walmart caters more towards both sides of the political aisle, and they also don't target kids and targeted kids, which is as verbally clumsy as it is morally clumsy, just all those words in a row. Now, in contrast to the performance of Target doing terrible, again, their sales went down for the first time in 6 years for the fiscal quarter 2, which took place during Pride Month. Fascinatingly enough, LinkedIn didn't cover this. LinkedIn had an article where and again, I'm a business owner, I'm in sales. I go on LinkedIn quite frequently, and I get some of the news from there. They covered the story about why Walmart beating Target. None of the articles mentioned the boycott. None of them mentioned that Target just happened to have their sales go down for the first time in 6 years during the Pride Month boycott. You can't. Single variable analysis is not always going to be accurate. There's a lot of variables that go into these things, but to ignore a variable completely, that's inauthentic and just obfuscates the truth, in my opinion. Now, again, you have Target bleeding money. They're not doing good. Walmart, on the other hand, their net income rose 33%. Now, it looks like they're also jumping by, that's for the physical stores, online shopping was up by 24%, which is key when you look at how these businesses are evolving. Walmart previously bought Jet.com a couple of years back so they can bolster their e-commerce online. Jet.com is more of a startup trying to compete with Amazon. And Walmart bought them, they integrated that into their website, and they're slowly starting to compete with Amazon. I've purchased one or two things off the site, and anecdotally, from my experience, I had one product where it was a third party on the site that was selling it, similar to Amazon, and it didn't work, so I sent it back, and they did refund me immediately. So that wasn't necessarily their fault, but they made it right quickly, so I appreciated that. Another thing I bought on there was my IT company was hosting an outdoors event. We wanted to get some panels for a tent. So fabric panels you basically clip onto the side of a pop-up tent, and those got delivered, I believe it's in 48 hours, and of course they were all in well shape. And that was Walmart Direct, so it was Walmart selling on Walmart.com. So their capabilities are growing pretty well. They're also a little bit more on the grocery side when compared to Target. And Target, well, everything in Target is not necessary. It's not a necessity. But Target has a lot of things like electronics. They got more clothing than Walmart. Whereas Walmart has more groceries. So that's why some of the analysts are saying that's why Walmart's growing, because people are buying more staples. And also, I mean, a bag of carrots from Target and a bag of carrots at Walmart, I mean, why not just get the one at Walmart? They're both organic carrots if you have the budget for the organic stuff. It's just a different plastic bag. So I would argue the better ROI is to go to Walmart. Now, it looks like the store visits, you got the online traffic, they're both going up. And Walmart's CFO, they did say that they saw a modest improvement in the sales of discretionary items as well. So those discretionary items being the things that are more tangible, that aren't disposable. So not like food or toothpaste, more things like electronics. So interestingly enough, Target's losing money on both those categories in terms of discretionary versus non-discretionary. Walmart's actually having a little bit of an increase in the item that Target is struggling the most in. Perhaps because TVs and those things are also cheaper at Walmart, I would guess on average. I always tell people growing up, Target is just like Walmart for rich folks or people with too much money. So it'll be interesting to see. But culturally speaking, Walmart's been pretty darn smart because they're being more apolitical. And I think culturally speaking, there's a lot of people who just want to be left alone. They just want to buy a drink. They just want to go get the groceries. They don't want to have to make a political statement when they pick up a Bud Light. They also don't want to have their taste buds viscerally destroyed by drinking that as well. But that's aside the main point. I think culturally speaking, we're going to see more and more companies that are more apolitical. I think they're going to start growing more and more because people are just tired of having to take a side when they're coming up against these cultural issues. Let me know in the comments, do you think that's going to be, think Walmart just keep accelerating their growth rate and Target will go down? Or will Target be able to pull up from that nosedive? It'll be interesting to see, but you know me, as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Trying to get again to 3,000 subscribers by the end of August, so you can click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to take the time to like and comment. Those things also really help with the algorithm to get the video shared. And also appreciate your feedback. It helps make the channel better and better. Helps improve the technologies, whether I'm putting the prompters on my monitors in front so I can keep eye contact a little bit better, or it's whether me being a little bit more bombastic with my hand gestures and my voice, and even working to try to slow down my voice, which again is something I'm always trying to work on more and more. All the feedback is greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.